Hello everyone, my name is Chance Brutton, and welcome back to StarCraft II Wings of Liberty campaign. In the last episode, we managed to recover the decrypted adjutant and found that it had some shocking revelations about Mengsk. Well, not really, I mean, we already knew the truth, but we have proof now of the truth, so it will be shocking revelations for everybody else when we announce to the world what Mengsk did on Torsonis, basically murder an entire planet, including Sarah Kerrigan, who wasn't actually dead, but she was taken by the Zerg and became the Queen of Blades, so it's partly his fault. But anyway, before we do that, however, I would like to go to the planet Zil, because we will get a very important unit called the Siege Tank, which is really going to help our base defense in future missions. So let's have a look at that.
Mobius wants us to go after another artifact on some dead world called Zil. Apparently they sent in a specialist team, but they lost contact with them 2 days ago. Their bad luck, I guess. Figure we'll get hazard pay for this one.
Now, seeing as we have 3 Protoss research opportunities, it's not too hard to guess what kind of trouble the team encountered.
So here's the deal. This place is a morgue. Whatever used to live in these ruins up and died millions of years ago.
Or left.
Before they went missing, the Mobius team reported artifact radiation emanating from that big old hunk of rock over yonder. They brought a big damn laser drill to burn the way in.
Laser drill? That thing's a monster. If the Mobius team had access to that kind of hardware, I hate to think about what could have wiped them out.
Reckon we'll find out soon enough, partner.
Yeah, so it's a little premature to think that the creators of that structure are dead. As I recall, this is a Xel'Naga structure, and they are very much not dead. And in fact, they may be coming back. But we'll see more about that in the future, when it comes back to bite us. In the meanwhile, we have something a little bit more mundane, but still very dangerous to deal with.
Watch your corners, boys. We don't know who cleaned this place out.
Unless you look at the research reward on the screen.
More Terran thieves. The mysteries of this place are forbidden. You will pay for your transgressions with your lives.
Okay. At least we know what happened to the other expedition.
That's fine.
So these are the Tal'Darim
Hold up
again.
there. Those Protoss cannons will tear us a new one if we try to advance. Swan, you promised me siege tanks. Where are they?
Settle down, hotshot. They're coming. These babies will knock those cannons down from a nice, safe distance.
So you can see that this is going to be invaluable for our base defense. Just put a couple of these behind our bunkers and they're going to do a lot of damage at the enemy. If I select them at all, then you can see there's these white rings that appear around the tanks that show the range that they can fire at.
These new siege tanks work just like the old ones. When you put them in siege mode, they get increased range and firepower. They can't move in siege mode, so if you need to reposition them, just switch them back into tank mode. You got it?
They were just in siege mode a moment ago. This is tank mode.
Wait.
So you have to be careful about where you deploy them. Yeah.
Let's get some siege tanks deployed on the high ground. They can pound that Protoss stalker before it even gets close to us.
Yes, I do know roughly how siege tanks work. I've played StarCraft for 13 years, maybe? Or more?
You gonna give me
Or more, yeah. So, moving on up, we should have an encampment up here that we can try and defend.
Mobius base local net accessed. Decrypting security overrides. Transferring control of base structures to you, Commander.
Great. So now we've taken over the old expedition's base.
Fired up. 174 gigawatts. The power of the sun at your fingertips. Now get it aimed at that door and let's get cutting.
Just don't let it go over 88
Laser
miles an
output is
hour in
good.
transport.
Drilling will take some time, but there's no other way into the temple. Sir, the Tal'Darim are mobilizing their forces against us.
So we set a perimeter and protect the drill until we're through. I'm just glad we've got siege tanks.
That's really why I'm here. So now this is a holdout similar to the 0 Hour mission, which was the third mission we played, where we had to wait for extraction against the Zerg onslaught. But this time, instead of Zerg, it's Tal'Darim Protoss, who are the same kind of Protoss that
We need bunkers and siege tanks defending that laser drill. We got no chance of claiming the artifact without it.
where was I? Oh yeah, these are the same type of Protoss that we fought against in the Smash and Grab mission, where we stole the second artifact. The first one we stole from the Dominion. Second one we stole from the Protoss themselves. And I really need to build additional siege tanks and queue up some upgrades for us, as well as get some units into these bunkers. And they will attack us with air too, so we need to make sure that there are turrets ready to defend us.
Sir, I've managed to access what's left of the Mobius Expedition sensor net. I'll route it through your map so you can see what the Tal'Darim are up to.
Great, so he's basically given us increased vision. So there are three main paths that the Tal'Darim are going to come from. They are going to come from over here, and over here. And we can see them amassing before they actually head out. I'm not sure where they're going to come from first, though. But I think we have more than enough to hold off the first waves of units. We could stand to have a few more Marines, and since we're dealing with the Protoss here, and they have the Marauders are very effective against the Protoss. It's most effective against Stalkers, but especially with their slow, they're good against just everything in general. And
Not enough minerals.
we're building a bit too close to the edge here for
Add-on complete.
any perdition turrets. That's unfortunate. I need to back up the defenses a little bit if I want to install any turrets, any perdition turrets on the high ground, which would be very useful, particularly against Protoss zealots. Keeping them at bay. Their light units, the splash damage, will be nice and handy. And I love that we have a big area behind our base here. It's just open because it's a good place to build supply depots, just to have them out of the way. So now let's queue up at least a Marauder for each side. We need less gas, so I'm going to move one of these gas guys to minerals, because we definitely need more of those. So let's get a Marauder on each side. Weapons are about to finish upgrading. Armor's kind of a low priority, because we're mostly hiding behind bunkers. Slightly higher priority would be to upgrade the armament on the siege tanks. So I'll have that SCV build up an armory for us, so that we can do that as soon as possible. And now we need supply depots. Let's build the supply depots into our frontline defenses to act as doors.
Not enough minerals.
Oh, here comes some more units. Get ready to stim this bunker. Stim! That increases rate of fire. And oh, hopefully that siege tank will not go down. Ah, that siege tank went down. That's unfortunate. In fact, that whole bunker's going down. It's not doing well over there. But they should be able to hold out. But I apparently really need to buff the defenses on this side. So let's start rebuilding a bunker. You have some siege tanks. Now this side should be doing a lot better, because it's got 2 siege tanks and there's a Marauder in that bunker. And let's queue up a Marauder for this bunker over here. And oh, that's where the SCV went. Oh, the other SCV I had over here is now trapped behind that missile turret. It happens. Let's upgrade vehicle weapons so that the tanks become more powerful. We are getting more tanks over on the right-hand side. Now we need more gas. So let's expand the gas production facilities and keep training more SCVs to deal with the inevitable mineral shortage. When we have enough minerals, we can buy some war pigs. They should be very helpful.
Not enough minerals.
And another thing we could do allies.
You would desecrate that which belongs to the gods. This will not be borne by the faithful.
Oh, uh-oh.
Sir, those are Protoss Archons.
What?
If they get too close, our men won't stand a chance. I'm giving you manual control of the laser drill. See if you can use it against the Protoss.
All right, you heard the man. Swing that laser around. We can use it to drive back the Protoss.
Alright, so now we can control the laser drill, which is way OP, overpowered, and we can use it to demolish just a load of stuff, and it will whenever we're not using it, it will automatically go back to destroying the doorway. And are we holding out all right over here? Yes, we are. Okay. So it'll automatically go back to dealing with the doorway when we're not using it, which is nice. And we can use it to deal with some heavy things. So these Archons are just heavily shielded. It's really hard to kill comparatively. They don't do well against light attacks, but against heavy things like the siege tanks, they do really well. These things over here are called Immortals. They also have kind of a similar mechanic, because they have shields that reduce any damage to a certain base level. So high impact things like the tanks are much less effective against them. Alright, so we just need more troops, and we need to flesh out our bunker defenses a little bit. We also need more supply depots. So I will build those supply depots down back in this little area down here, where there is plenty of room for additional supply depots. And then upgrades coming along good.
The laser drill has breached the door's outer layer.
Making good progress on the door. And we really need to finish walling off
Not enough minerals.
these structures, these doorways, these entrances. Otherwise, we are going to be in a world of trouble. We actually need a door over on this side too. We don't have one yet. Ah, the war pigs have arrived.
Alert. Enemy air units on approach vector.
Damn it. Air units, nothing. Those are transports. Use the laser to knock them down fast.
Oh, transports. Oh, crap. Yep, so now they are trying to land units into our base. But we should be okay. However, that's just the first wave. It's a good thing we have the barracks range upgrade. I think it'll be very useful right now.
This better be good.
Alright, so now down here in the southern part of the defense, we can now finally finish the wall off. And we can put up a second siege tank. And we obviously need increased anti-air defenses. And it may not be a bad idea at this point either to start upgrading armor of things, because now people are starting to get behind our front lines.
Not enough minerals.
But perhaps more turrets is a bigger priority? Maybe? Don't know.
Sir, I'm picking up the energy signatures of several Protoss relics in the area. I'm marking them on your map.
Okay, now we need those. Definitely need those.
You rang?
Those are the research opportunities for this mission.
Well, if there's time, we can blast them free with a laser drill. I bet Stedman would love to study them.
Oh. Yeah, we need to go up to get to them. We need to go up and get to them first. Let's use the laser drill real quick to take out these Immortals. One other thing we could attempt to do is destroy all of the Protoss, and that would help us defend, but that would be extremely dangerous, and I don't think it would be worth it. Let's see how our defenses hold up here. And doing pretty well. Siege tanks wreaking a lot of havoc, and the enemy just not getting close. Although, when they do get a chance to shoot the tanks go down pretty quick. So I think it is time for the armor upgrades. I'm also going to grab infantry upgrades too, because when we go out to actually try and seize the relics, then we could use... We could very much use the armor upgrades to keep our forces alive. And we need more SCVs, because we're not nearly at capacity for mining. And we need more turrets, because next time the air comes, we are not prepared to deal with it, currently.
Yep.
So build another turret over there, build another turret over here, wherever to get the most range. And fortunately, we do have fully upgraded turrets, so they will be particularly helpful to us, because we have invested in them. Our force that can act... The number of forces we have that could actually go out and help us to get the research relics is kind of small right now, though, so we need to keep building those units up. Marauders are a good start, but we're going to need some other things in the mix as well. But our defenses are holding up really well. Now, I should hotkey all of these bunkers so that I can easily get to the stim key when we need it.
Additional supply
And,
depots required.
as always, more war pigs. Just lots and lots of war pigs, because they are really valuable. Okay, so a couple more supply depots queued up, and I guess maybe some more medics. Medics and Marauder mix mostly to go out and get the relics. I guess we don't really need too much to collect the relics, but we need enough that they'll survive. You might want to pull these siege tanks back a little bit, actually, so that they're not quite so exposed.
Upgrade complete.
Because they are
Upgrade
kind of
complete.
vulnerable, so maybe I will just pull them back slightly. They don't need to be quite that close to the edge. This repairing SCV is blocking the siege tank. Get out of the way.
The doctor is in.
Yeah, so now this guy is back from the edge a little bit, but he has good... he still has good reach to be able to shoot. And this guy is behind our defenses, but still has reach. So that's alright. Oh yeah, just obliterating the enemy forces. So now, what we really need to concentrate on, I think, is building a force
The laser drill is now cutting through the door's thermal barrier.
that can go get the relics. I'm not sure. I think this will probably get harder as time goes on. So I think it would be a good idea to go get those relics. However, it is also always a good idea to just quickly save the game, just in case something goes wrong. All right, let's have a shot at trying to collect the relic from up here. We have a couple of medics, a couple of marauders. Marauders are our frontline tanky kind of guys.
Outstanding.
Although one's already down. Oh, no. Oh, misclicks. So many misclicks.
Sir, more air units inbound.
We gotta take them out, or
Oh.
they'll keep dropping troops right on top of us.
Yep. Priority, take out the air units with the drill, and then go get the research points. So how are we doing? We've cleared out mostly everything. We took some losses, but not nearly so bad as last time. So now we'll get the drill to take out this Zelnaga shrine, so that our ground troops here can pick up the artifact underneath. And that will be one Protoss research point. And then similarly, we can go down into the other corner and do the same thing. I'll train up a couple more Marauders. Oh, we have a couple of Immortals here. I would say these Immortals are definitely worth taking out with the drill, because they are a pain. And I will wait for this group of Protoss to pass before trying to move our group here back home, because otherwise they will just get obliterated. And I will in fact close the door to our base on this side so that we are not just so exposed.
Add-on.
But things are going okay. Oh yeah, oh those guys are just obliterated. So now we can meet up with these other forces that we've trained. One other strategic point is that we are limited in time and how quickly the drill can cut through the door. And so if we target other people, the drill will be a little bit slower in trying to get through the doorway. That works to our advantage if we have not yet collected all of the Protoss relics, because it buys us time to do so.
Base is under attack.
All right.
The doctor is in.
I think we're all right over there. So let's focus let's focus over here. Now, I'm running in to destroy the pylon first because it's quicker than just destroying both cannons separately. And when I knock out the pylon, I knock out the power to the defenses. So, it ends up being more effective to do it that way. And let's get vision so I can queue up the destruction of both Xel'Naga shrines. And now, we just have to wait for that. And we're not going to end up needing these other units in our little mobile group, so we can just put them directly into bunkers for right now. And let's queue up... what are we attacking with the drill right now? We're attacking that temple. So let's queue up attacking all of these Archons after the temple. And let's grab the research. This one lone war pig will get to grab this Protoss relic. Great, that's all the research. Now our guys can just get home. Their mission is simply get home safely. And let's collect together all of our loose forces. Now,
Thermal barrier breached. The laser drill is now cutting through the core.
They seek to befoul the legacy of the gods. Destroy them.
now that we have this loose force of Marines, medics, and Marauders, we'll be able to move them about to deal with any incoming drops. Ooh, this is a new unit, the Colossus. It can walk up cliffs and it has vision up cliffs.
There's another wave of air units heading your way.
These guys just won't give up. Stick it to them, boys.
The air units aren't really all that dangerous now, I don't think, because we do actually have a little mobile force here that can deal with it, which is pretty nice. More dangerous, I think, are those Colossi, which have incredible range. They can see up cliffs, they can walk up cliffs. They are vulnerable to anti-air, but they can do a lot of damage to the siege tank lines.
Vespine Geyser exhausted.
So now, I think that really the only thing our defenses need, because our bunkers are full, we've got repairing SCVs, we have some anti-air defenses, we have a small mobile force. I think really the only thing that would really help us at this point is more tanks. More tanks and more tanks. So let's build more tanks, and actually let's rebuild the broken down defenses, obviously, but then most of the tanks. Look at what this guy can do. He can fire onto the cliff. Normally, units wouldn't have vision up the cliff unless they had some kind of accompanying flying unit, but the Colossus is so tall that it still counts. So that's why he's so dangerous. He can target this, and he could have even shot at the siege tanks if he wanted, which would have been really bad. Take out all our expensive siege tanks from a distance beyond the range where the siege tanks can shoot at it, and then pave the way for the ground forces, the rest of the ground forces.
Give us your best shot.
So let's move the rest of the siege tanks up to the front line, keep building some more siege tanks, let's build some more supply depots because we're going to need them if we don't win before we supply cap, reach the supply limit.
Is under attack.
And those Colossi are taking out all our air defenses, but notice how our turret is firing at the Colossus. Because the Colossus is vulnerable to air. We don't really need these doors anymore, I suppose, because we don't actually have to leave our base for anything else now that we've got the research, but there's no point in tearing them down to restructure the defenses or anything. Let's take out the Archons first, and the Immortal, and then let's go after the Colossi. Also, the Colossi have splash damage, which make them very effective against light infantry units. Light biological units like Marines and medics, and not so much Marauders because Marauders have armor, but just generally infantry. And they're devastating against the Zerg, like Zealots and things. Just keep blasting away at these units that are troublesome. Notice how the Protoss are sending them all a little bit more often. Oh, look at the havoc that the siege tanks are unleashing. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't think we have to worry about Immortals anymore. Possibly Archons, maybe Colossi, but not Immortals. Those Immortals just got ripped apart. So this is why I wanted to do this mission. These siege tanks are really improving our defenses over here. Really improving the defenses. So it's good to have, and that's going to be really useful on some other missions later where defending our base and doing something else at the same time
Mineral
is
field
generally
depleted.
really hard, but the siege tanks will make it a lot easier. We can also get siege tank mercenaries, and although I've been convinced by the war pigs that, I'm being more convinced by the war pigs that mercenaries are generally more useful than I give them credit for, I've always considered the siege tank mercenaries to be worthwhile. They are just really good to have. Just a load of damage from those guys. So take out the Archons, take out the Colossi because they're just troublesome. That turret didn't even go down. Nice. And keep blasting away. So I think basically things are going to remain unchanged from here on out. If anything interesting happens, I'll cut back, but otherwise I'll skip forward a bit so you don't have to sit through all of this.
Breach of the doorway core is imminent. Structured access imminent.
It is our sacred duty to stop these defilers. Burn them to ashes.
You're welcome to try, but I think I'm getting a little too close for you to stop. Oh man, they've been amassing. I think they're just sending a continuous stream now to get utterly annihilated on both fronts. No problem. And breach the door in 3, 2, 1. Boom.
You have prevailed for now. Word of this sacrilege will echo across the stars, James Raynor. The day of reckoning draws near.
These artifacts of yours seem real popular, Titus.
What do we care? As long as the pay's good.
Really? I'd say getting vaporized by the Tal'Darim definitely counts as diminishing returns.
Yeah, there is a little bit more there to the economics of the situation. But, at any rate, that's that mission complete. So now, let's have a look at what we get out of it. I'm not sure. That was 3 Protoss research. Maybe we have enough for another upgrade? Not sure about that. I really hope so. Hyperion Access Hall F. 4:14 shipboard time. Oh. This is going to unlock something very interesting for us. We're about to get a visit from an old friend. Really a friend. Not the other kind of old friend. Though I don't know why he's being so creepy about it. That is kind of weird.
James Raynor. I bring tidings of doom.
Zeratul.
I have pierced the veil of the future and beheld only oblivion. Yet one spark of hope remains. You will hold her life in your hands. And though justice demands that she die for her crimes, only she can save us.
Wait a second. You're talking about Kerrigan. It's been 4 years. You show up out of nowhere.
Time is short. You must understand. The answers you seek lie within. Study it well. The fate of creation hangs in the balance.
Nice to see you too.
Now, I do have a theory about why he had to cut his visit there brief.
I've heard of these Ehon crystals before. Supposedly they allow you to relive another person's memories. Whatever Zeratul's uncovered, he was desperate for me to see it too. Well, here goes nothing.
So now, we have access to the crystal, which starts a whole new story arc, a small story arc, where we get to see from a Protoss perspective and see what Zeratul's been up to and what a shocking thing he's uncovered. And I'll just say that I think that the reason that he was having so much trouble and couldn't stay long is that the artifact is giving him some kind of issue, that he has some problem being near it. Maybe when the other Protoss were holding on to the artifact, it was shielded specially for it, and we don't understand it well enough to shield it properly, so it affected him, but not us, maybe. One of the notes, I think, suggested that. We might take a look. It might be this one.
These artifacts is making me nervous. Can you tell me any more about them?
It's interesting. The one from Zil is different than the others. However, I think all of them once constituted a single device.
You mean they make something bigger?
It would seem so. It's just a theory, but there's an attraction between the artifacts we've collected. A kind of harmonic resonance. Given the points of contiguous translinear alignment, I think they'd be drawn together like magnets under the right field adjustment.
Okay. Well, don't adjust anything just yet, Doc. I like them aligned just the way they are.
Yeah, we don't know how dangerous they might be. Do we get to see a note here if I go in?
These artifacts is making me nervous.
No.
It's interesting.
Okay.
You mean
I thought we would get to see a note and read it. That might explain more. But anyway, let's see what else we have available. Do we have any research available? Maybe? Maybe not? Yes, I think so. Yes! Okay. So what do we have? Orbital supply depots. Supply depots can be built instantaneously. Now, this is really bad if you're very good at the game. Because if you're good, you should be building supply depots ahead of the time that you need them, and therefore never really need to build them instantly. If you're bad, or distracted, or both, like me, then it could be a lot better, because you can suddenly say, oh, I need a supply depot, I didn't realize I need a supply depot, I need it right now, and then boom, you have a supply depot. Alternatively, we can produce Vespene from refineries faster, increasing our resource gathering rate, which means we have more to spend, which means we can build more. And that is probably the more useful thing if you can take full advantage of it. Of course, if you don't have supply, it's kind of hard to take advantage of the extra Vespene gas. And if you don't balance things correctly, it's kind of difficult. Still, I think that in principle, this is the better upgrade. So I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to just try and be better in order to make use of it. So that's it for the research. Let's just finish up everything we have available to us in the lab, and then we've got a lot of credits to spend.
I see we have a new acquisition. Is it a Protoss device?
That's right. But I wouldn't mess with it if I were you. It's a Kadaran Ehan crystal. It's a memory storage device. Lets you experience what other people have seen or done. They can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Yet you don't fear it at all. You're a fascinating man, Jim Raynor. You know more about the Protoss and the Zerg than any of the experts I've read about.
He's lived among them. Some of his best friends are Protoss. Of course he knows more than people who've just read about them in books. Alright, so, the Protoss crystal continues to grow. I no longer think it is drawing power from the ship. It's getting pure energy from that sphere above it, which presents a new worry. What's it doing with all that power? Is it going to release it explosively? I have to keep Swan away from the sample. He will definitely shoot it out the airlock, with me strapped to it. I tried scraping smaller samples, but all my tools broke. Luckily, I found some cast-off chips floating in the tank. Wonder how they came off. In any case, the chips revealed more of the Matrix. It's keeping the energy there in a vortex. How does it move the energy so fast? It may be the fabled Protoss warp technology. For all its complexity, the Matrix is as solid as the strongest structure. I wonder if I could apply these dynamics to our own structures. Make a note. I'm learning so much from this crystal, but I can't help feeling as if it's learning from me, if that makes sense. Late, tired, sleep now. Alright, and so we'll look at the crystal in a minute. The crystal will actually be the next mission, probably. We can still do the other missions if we want to, but I think I might want to go down the Protoss storyline now that's available, just so we can see it.
This is Donnie Vermillion, live from UNN. Tonight, the Zerg invasion, the battle so far. The Terran Dominion is holding firm under Zerg aggression. Our industrial complex has stepped up production on all fronts. Enlistment rates have risen within the penal system, and the Marine Corps is ready to get in the fight. The Zerg won't know what hit them.
Donnie, has there been any word on when we start pushing the aliens back?
Kate, if I revealed that, I'd be giving away vital Dominion secrets.
You think the Zerg watch our broadcast?
I know they do, Kate. I know they do.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. This is Kate Lockwell for UNN.
I would love to see a Zergling, or just a group of Zerglings sat in front of a television watching the broadcast.
So now we've got 3 of these artifacts on my ship. When are we supposed to hand these damn things over?
They got their hands full right now. The Zerg are about to invade Tirador, where Mobius' main research center is. I don't reckon we'll hear anything from them until they relocate somewhere safe.
Wonderful.
Hopefully they'll still be able to come up with payment. Okay. By the way, the Terrans got their start as prisoners shot off into space from Earth, and then they formed the Confederacy, which then later gave way to the Dominion. It's been a long time since I played the original StarCraft. I don't remember a lot of the campaign, and I was quite young when I went through it, so I don't remember all the details, but I do know that everybody here is pretty much descendant from prisoner rejects.
You ain't gonna believe this, but I just saw Zeratul on the ship.
How much did you have to drink tonight, sir?
He was here, Matt, and he was hurt. On the run from something.
Where is he now, sir?
I don't know, but he ain't on the ship anymore. He gave me an Ehon memory crystal, and he was desperate for me to study it. I guess he wants me to see what he's seen.
Of course, that was hundreds of years ago, so that's all very much in the past. But even now, pretty much the entire Terran military is conscripted prisoners, which is what he was mentioning, that the conscription rates have risen within the penal system.
We're rocking some serious heavy metal now that we got siege tanks.
Yes, sir. The comforting thunder of the big guns. Well, comforting when they're on our side.
Yeah, these newer tanks have better guns when they're on the move. And reinforced armor.
So long as they still got the range in siege mode, the rest is just gravy. Between siege tanks and bunkers, we can hold the line against just about anything.
That's the idea. That's why I got them. Alright, so vehicles. So now we can get some siege tank upgrades, and that's pretty useful. One thing we can do is Maelstrom rounds. The siege tank deals plus 40 damage to primary target. So when they're whacking big, heavy things, they can do a lot more damage. We can see in this video in the lower right-hand corner, if I'm not blocking it, that the siege tanks do much better against Colossi. We can also get Shaped Blast, so that it does 75% less splash damage to friendly units, which is very important if we're going to be fighting under where the siege tanks are, because right now they deal a lot of damage to our own units as well as the enemy. Or in the base, we can also get a couple of good upgrades. We can have SCVs repair twice as fast, or we can have multiple SCVs simultaneously construct the same structure to increase speed. So build faster or repair faster. I'm inclined to repair faster, because that would save a lot of our structures in future. And then also for siege tanks, additional damage. Very helpful. And that just about runs us out entirely of credits. So, nothing else to look at on the bridge. In the cantina. Are there any new missions available from the bridge? I don't think so, because now we have them in the lab. Yeah, no new missions on the bridge. So now let's take a quick look before ending the episode at the Ehon Crystal.
Raynor, the hounds of the void are closing in. I impart my memory, my very essence, into this Ehon crystal, so that you will see what I have seen, and that the future may yet have hope.
Now this is going to be a small series of missions where we play as the Protoss, and get to see things from Zero Tool's perspective. Notice that we get paid no credits and we don't unlock any additional units, but we have much more research possibilities. So we can improve on our science even if we can't upgrade our gear. So that's pretty nice. I think we'll probably go with that, but we'll decide in the next episode. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Oh look, by repeatedly spam clicking everything, I get monkeys.
I'm pretty sure that there's a monster back there.
Oh, he's right there! Oh, God, I ran the wrong way! I ran the wrong way!
Oh. That could have saved me. Oh. 100 lives right now. Oh. Why?